Hi guys, this is a continue of chapter 3. I was thrilled when the helmsman agreed. We were out of sight of land and I thought we must be in the middle of the ocean. I could see nothing but the sea on all sides. The sky above was like a huge sapphire ball. The fishermen were still steering by a landmark, a hill that looked like a tiny hood on the horizon. When that too disappeared, they went by the light of the Devundara lighthouse. A steady breeze sprang up and the men shipped their oars while one of them shook out the sail. He tied one end to the crossbeam and then the helmsman took charge. The boat really began to move now. The fishermen were amazed to see me standing firm in the middle of the boat, holding on to the end of a pole. The helmsman said that even a fisherman wouldn't have been so fearless on his first trip to the Bala grounds. The boat went hissing through the water and we were soon at the Benten. The men let down their stone anchor slowly. They called it the Panagala and the sea around the Benten the Pitigala. When they cast anchor, I was able to stop holding on and to clamber about the boat, helping the men. They tied their sacks at their waist and took up their huge bamboo fishing rods. I handed a sack to one and a water bottle to another. Two of them got out the bit of red in Guru and began to throw it into the sea like farmers sowing grain. The sea around the boats began to look like a red cloth and the balaya came jumping and fighting for the bait. Turn in the water. The fishermen held their rods against their hips with one hand and threw their lines into the water with the other. Their sacks were ready, tied to their vests. They had hardly thrown in their lines when they were pulling away the rods, for the balaya were leaping for the bait. And so they went on throwing and jerking back their lines, a balaya falling into the boat with each pull. I could hear the thudding all round me as the fish were dropped into the boat. The sea was a battlefield. Balaya were even banging against the side of the boat. They fought for the bait like a pack of dogs for bones or like bats around a fruit tree. The noise was that of a huge billow at work, together with a violent slapping sound as if people were thrashing about wildly in the water. I've never been in anything so fascinating, so exciting, since I think the fisherman too loved the thrill of it more than a gambler loves his game. Compared even with the smallest of ships, a sea-going canoe is no better than a bit of bark. These men go far out to sea in them. facing unimaginable dangers. A sudden gale could send them no one knows where. A big wave could destroy both men and boat. They could be dashed to pieces on the rocks. Clinging to the wreckage rarely saves them. It is all too luckily that they would starve to death if cast adrift on the vast watery deserts of the ocean. Do they venture out beyond the horizon merely because this is their livelihood? I think they love the life itself. I can say this because I had that chance to see them pulling in the Balaya and Kelavalla. I remember the looks on their faces and the things they talked about. The boat was full of fish in half an hour. Perhaps the men thought the boat would be swamped if they took any more fish, for they stopped work and sat down to eat their rice. They were in fine spirits. One of the men said he wouldn't mind sharing with me, and many of the others echoed him. But he won't be able to eat such hot stuff, said one. Oh no, I'm quite used to it, I said. Sometimes when we were out playing in our village, I've eaten manioka and pol sambola. They washed their hands in the sea and untied their bundles. The helmsman, who had the best and biggest meal, shared it with me. I've never had a meal I enjoyed more. The sea air and made me hungry, and I was still full of the excitement of watching the fishing. Samba rice, balaya cooked dry in the ambultial style, and pol sambola made a better meal than the most expensive food I've eaten with a dozen dishes of fish. Flesh and vegetables, I hadn't had anything to eat all night and even in the morning, and I quickly finished everything I'd been given. Another man gave me a bit more rice, and the helmsman gave me some sambola. Smiling to see how hungry I was, I washed my hand in the sea when I finished and drank some water out of a coconut shell. The helmsman took a straw punch from his vest and began to chew a quid of betel. The others followed suit. "Do you chew betel?" asked one, offering me some. "Did you like the fishing?" asked the helmsman. "Yes, very much. I wish I could come again." "Aha," said the fisherman, laughing. "You are not to come near the boat again. Do you hear?" "You didn't know, boy. There are times we have been sorry we didn't bring fewer men. 2 or 3 less and we could take in more fish. Did you see how the fish were tumbling in?" He related a story about Karachi Mudaliyar who wanted to see the bala fishing. He was so determined that the fisherman had to take him, for such official could be very useful to them. They had some open a huge shoal of balaya, and the boat was soon full of fish. The fisherman could have taken 60 or 70 more balaya, but for the Karachi Mudaliyar. Throw the fellow into the sea and let's take another 100 balaya. One of the men had said murderously. I'm sure the story was invented to poke fun at the great greed of fishermen, but the man enjoyed telling it. Time to go back, said the helmsman. They hauled in the anchor and the boat began to move quickly landward. For a long time I could see nothing but a vast stretch of water wherever I looked. The boat was like an ant crawling painfully across a blue cloth. After a while, a little mud like a hood came into sight over the horizon. There's our landmark, said the helmsman. The hood rose and expanded, and I saw that it was a hill covered with trees. The dark smudge gradually took shape as trees. After a while, we could make out the coconut palms and the huts along the beach. There were canoes drawn up in a row on the beach. Soon I saw crows fighting over bait thrown away by the fishermen. My pleasure began to ebb, for I remembered Mr. Dharmasingha. I know that the headmaster's house wasn't far from the beach. We went ashore at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Men and boys came running to peep into the boat. One of the men recognized me as I jumped out. Deyo Saki, Mr. Dharmasingha has been looking for you everywhere. That's a very clever boy, said the helmsman. I realized that the fishermen were superstitious about the good luck they had and liked me better for it. They ought to take me with them every time they went after balaya. The helmsman called one of the fishermen to him. Take this boy to headmaster Dharmasingha's and give them 2 of the balaya. The headmaster and his wife gave sighs of relief when they saw me. Somalata looked at me with tear-dimmed eyes. Gunadasa was full of admiration for my exploit as he asked me, Did you go far out to sea? So you have been to sea, have you? To bring us these fish? No doubt, said Mrs. Dharmasingha. A fine thing you've done. Our minds were on fire all the time. You turn our blood to water. It's we who have to answer to your father. Mr. Dharmasingha didn't say a word. Somalata and Gunadasa came to ask me all about my adventures, but I was so tired that I just dropped into bed and fell asleep. The next day, Mr. Dharmasingha and his wife told father whole story. It was only then that I discovered that the headmaster had sent father a telegram as soon as I'd come ashore. In spite of all the mischief he's been up to, we never even touched him. I heard Mrs. Dharmasingha say, You should thrash him. Yes, thrash him. Well and truly. Don't tell me headmaster right at the start to thrash him if he didn't behave. There's no change in him if you don't thrash him soundly. How could we do that? He's your son. After all, I just couldn't do it. Thrash him, headmaster, thrash him. I won't take it amiss, whatever you do. Please take him home with you. Mudalali Mahathaya, we would like you to take him away. How can I do that now? Didn't you say that the exam is quite near? Please forgive him this time and let him stay on. The boy has been here for a year, hasn't he? He's only become more unruly than ever. Well, I suppose I can't refuse you. I'll keep him until the exam are over. I'll never forget your kindness. Mrs. Dharmasingha began to sing father's praises. We know, Mudalali Mahathaya, we understand what you are no misser when it comes to educating this boy. There's no reason why he shouldn't do well. He has brains all right. His only defect is his unruliness. You can only set that right by thrashing him. Beat him well. Mrs. Dharmasingha, I won't complain even if you draw blood. Annie, how could we possibly beat him? But I nearly lost my temper when I found he had torn up 2 of my best saris. Yet I didn't scold him even then. You can ask the child whether I am telling the truth. Would I ever do that? I wish you had beaten him soundly. You won't bring him round if you don't. No, we never beat even our own children. I couldn't bring myself to do it. But I am rather hurt that he ruined my best saris. I'm sorry, I forgot to pay for the saris, said father, pulling out his purse and giving her 30 rupees. Please buy 2 new saris and don't hesitate to thrash him next time. How can we beat the son of yours? She repeated, taking the 30 rupees with a show of reluctance. There's no need to pay for them, she said, but she didn't hand the money back. No, you must take the money, only because you insist. Mrs. Dharmasingha tucked the money into her vest carefully. Finish our chapter 3. If you want to listen chapter 4, please stay with us. Thank you. Subscribe us, comment us, share us and like us. Goodbye.